الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين الآثمين نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله تعالى فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله وصفيه وخليله أرسله ربه على فترة من الرسل وقلة من العلم ففتح به أعينا عميا وآذانا صما وقلوبا غلفا نشهد أنه صلى الله عليه وسلم بلغ رسالة ربه وأدى الأمانة على الوجه الأكمل وتركنا على المحجة البيضاء ليلها كنهارها لا يزيغ عنها إلا هالك ولا يوفق إليها إلا كل مهتد سالك اللهم اجعلنا منهم. After praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and sending the best of peace and blessings to the soul of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, we commence. It is this time again of the year that we receive a new year, a new Islamic year, a new Hijri year, and it's been already 39 years since the Hijrah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam from Mecca to Medina, that special time and that huge difference that the Hijrah made in the history of Islam. From Mecca to Medina, من الاضطهاد إلى التمكين، من الذلة إلى العزة، من التعذيب والتنكيل والرفض والإهانة إلى كل ما يعني فيه عزة ونصر وتمكين. We're talking about a difference, a time that made all the difference between persecution and establishment. Between being put into different kinds of torment and rejection and calling names into Nasr and victory from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Medina. But between the two timelines, between the two eras, we have to focus on that interim period. The last few years of the Meccan period, and Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, I want to zoom in and go back to that time, and let's go together to see Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam for year after year is in the field calling to Allah. Regardless of how many people accepted Islam with him, every year he will go to Al-Mawsim, the season, Hajj, where many people are coming from the different sides of Arabia, different tribes, different people, and he is calling them to Allah. And he is presenting himself and his da'wah to every tribe so that maybe somebody can support him. And year after year, majority of what he received is rejection, istihza, they mocking him, ﷺ, ridiculing him, calling him names, and this is what he is getting. Until the year 11 of Al-Ba'ath al-Nabawiyya, of him ﷺ being a prophet. Something very significant will happen. Yet not many of us know about this, but that was, in my opinion, the very beginning of the change. The very beginning of the shift from Mecca to Medina and from Villa to Izzah. From being persecuted into being victorious. It goes like that, and probably would not pay much attention to the incident, even though it made all the difference. 6 young people, just 6 young people from Al-Khazraj, from Medina, are coming to Al-Hajj. And they met with the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He met with them. They saw him. He presented Islam to them. Jabir ibn Abdullah Jabir ibn Abdullah is a young Sahabi. Even after the Hijrah, he was so young of a Sahabi, of a companion. Let alone going back 3 years in time. He was so young. As'ad ibn Zurara, so young. Very few young people from Medina. And Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam presented Islam to them. On the spot, they accepted Islam. Done. He left them sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and it's done. No, it's not done. They will go back to Medina. They will invite people to Islam. They will carry that da'wah to their people and their families. Next year, 12 people will come. 12 representatives of Al-Ansar. 10 from Al-Khazraj and 2 from Al-Aws. Al-Madina, there were 2 main tribes of Arabs, Al-Aws and Al-Khazraj, and they were in war for so many years. But subhanAllah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opened the hearts of 2 of Al-Aws to accept the haqq, the truth, even though it came from some of their enemies. One of them was Abu Haytham al-Tayyihan. 12 of those people came next year to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he gave them Bay'at al-Aqabah al-Ula, the pledge of allegiance that happened in al-Aqabah, the first one, on year 12 of the Ba'ath of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, of him being a prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Burud al-Bay'ah كانت بسيطة. One of them is Ubadah ibn Samit, very young Sahabi. He gave us the details of that. He said, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam قال بايعوني على أن لا تشركوا بالله شيئا. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Messenger of Allah, he said to us, give me the pledge of allegiance to worship none but Allah, associate nobody with Allah in ibadah. Number 1 rule, number 1 commandment in any religion is to worship Allah alone, tawheed, monotheism, Him alone. In the Old Testament, for our fellow Christians, even though they do not clearly implement it, but it is the first commandment ever. It is the first right of Allah and His people to admit Him alone and worship Him alone. Bayi'uni, give me the pledge of allegiance to worship Allah alone, not associate anybody with Him. وَلَا تَسْرِقُوا وَلَا تَزْنُوا وَلَا تَقْتُلُوا أَوْلَادَكُمْ وَلَا تَأْتُوا بِبُهْتَانٍ تَفْتَرُونَهُ بَيْنَ أَيْدِيكُمْ وَأَرْجُلِكُمْ وَلَا تَعْصُونِي فِي مَعْرُوفٍ. So article number 1 is you worship Allah alone, associating nobody with Him. Number 2, number 3, and number 4, they have to do with the akhlaq, the characteristics. Do not kill one another, do not commit fornication, do not make lies against one another. And number 5 has to do with the community, their relationship with the guide, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, their leader, is that you should never disobey me when I tell you something good in ma'roof, when I'm giving you a good commandment. So that was a couple of lines, very short, kind of pledge of allegiance, but هذا هو حجر أساس بناء أي مجتمع. This is the cornerstone of any community getting together, is to come together under Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then to have all of these akhlaq and characteristics of how they should deal with one another, socially and economically, and in all of these dimensions, and then they should worship the constitution or the leader or the system that they live into. قال فمن أصاب من ذلك شيئا. What if somebody did a mistake? Failed to do one of these things, it's not the end of the world. قال فمن أصاب من ذلك شيئا فعوقب به في الدنيا فهو كفارة له. Somebody committed any of these, broke any of these, and then he received the punishment for it in this life, it will be a kafara, an expiation for it. ومن أصاب من ذلك شيئا فستره الله فأمره إلى الله إن شاء عاقبه وإن شاء عفى عنه. But if somebody breaks one of these articles between him and Allah, nobody knows about it, then he is to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He may forgive him and He may punish him. It's up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So 12 people. The Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam knew by then it's serious. Some people, more people are accepting Islam in there. And they requested that He send somebody with them to go back to their city, Medina, to teach them Islam. He sent Mus'ab ibn Umayr. He went with them. And Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam chose Mus'ab ibn Umayr radiallahu anhu, and that was the right choice. Mus'ab كان من أطرف وأنعم شباب مكة. He grew up in a very luxurious family, or rich family, enjoying luxurious kind of life, but he is now going to make history to make difference in the history of Islam. He will go to Medina. By the next year, year 13, 70 people, 75 people will come from Medina, people from the residents of Medina will come to Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and Mus'ab will come with them a little bit before them to tell the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam that this is the place to go to. By this time, everybody in Medina, almost everybody in Medina is ready for you to come as the leader. And subhanAllah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shows the supporters of the Prophet ﷺ to be from a different city, not from his own people, so it will become an international da'wah, an international mission and goal. If it is just Muhammad ﷺ from Quraysh and his people, probably some people would think it's this tribe that's trying to make legacy or history or take the leadership. No. The supporters of Muhammad ﷺ will be from a different city, from Medina. And the supporters of Nabi ﷺ, the key figures around him ﷺ, will not be only from Medina, will be from Al-Habashi, Bilal Al-Habashi, from Abyssinia, Africa, and somebody from Persia, and somebody from Rome, and somebody from different tribes and different backgrounds. They will be the leading figures around Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to give us the reference from beginning that this da'wah is for everybody and for all, and those people, regardless of their backgrounds, they will take it to the different levels. What is really important, one of the lessons that we have to draw in here, I was talking about it yesterday with some sisters, is a very, very important lesson. We see Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam for year after year. He is going after al-ru'asa, al-qada, zu'ama al-qabail, wal-mujahat, in Mecca, al-Ta'if. Year after year, he is going after the elite, after everybody, but he's focusing on the elite and the leaders of their communities. He is going after them. لَعَلَّكَ بَاخِعٌ نَفْسًا قَاتِلٌ نَفْسًا. Until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was the one to tell him, take it easy on yourself. You are about to kill yourself of worry over them, that they are not accepting Islam, they are hitting directly to the hellfire. He was going after them, في محافلهم, في نواديهم, in their places of gathering, في أسواق عكاظ وذي مجنة, in their places of their gatherings. He goes to them, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He goes to Ta'if, a different city, and all he got, إلا قليلا, يعني all he got is rejection, استهزاء. He is praying in Mecca, يلقون عليه سلة الجزور, they will cast over him the abdominal parts of a camel that they slaughtered recently. He is walking in Mecca, يستهزئون به ويدفعونه وكذا حتى يكون أبو بكر من يدفع. They will call him names and they will push him, they will take it physical, and sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, they will do everything possible to stop him, alayhi salatu wasalam, min istikmal da'watihi. The key lesson is he never lost his hope, alayhi salatu wasalam. ما فقد الأمل أبدا من نصر الله عز وجل. This lesson we need nowadays. He never lost hope. He is still in the field. He is still في الميدان صلى الله عليه وسلم يدعو الناس. ما كان لعله ما كان يظن ولا يدري صلى الله عليه وسلم أن هؤلاء النفر الستة, young people, 6 of them, they will make all the difference. Next year there will be 12. The year after there will be 75, and then they will be the ones who call him to come to their city, and they said, we are ready for it, Ya Rasulullah, we will support you, we will listen to you. What is the price? They are not getting anything in return but Jannah. If you do that, if you take me and give me a shelter and support me and accept me and support me financially and everything, you will get Jannah. And they accepted it. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam soon will be moving to them, and Islam will be moving on to the next level. They will establish their state there, and 50 years after that they will rule over half of the world. So many countries will accept Islam just like that. One of them is Egypt, accepted Islam with no fighting, almost no fighting whatsoever. It is communities like Medina. Medina itself, they were waiting for Islam. طحنتهم الحروب ويعني مزقتهم. They were completely torn. They were lost. They were misguided. They were fighting one another, their cousins, their own people. قالوا يا رسول الله, the people, the 6 people, they said, يا رسول الله تركنا قومنا ولا قوم فيهم. We came to you and we left our people, and there's no people, meaning there's no tie between them. لا قوام لهم. They are gone. Isn't that what we see nowadays? Isn't that what we see in many Muslim communities? That we see how many ethnicities and backgrounds and ideologies, and everyone is ready to remove the one in front of him to death, to remove him from existence. That was the case of Medina until they got tired of it. They said, if we follow you and you manage to get us back together, you will be the man. كنت أعز رجل. You will be the man to follow if you are able to do that. They were ready for it and they accepted it. And some Jews were living in Medina, they were talking to the Medina people about this is the time of the Prophet who will come at the end of the time, and we will follow him and we will fight you. And they found the haqq, the people of Medina found the haqq, and they adopted it first. And subhanAllah, all the change will happen because of these people. أتى النصر من المدينة، لم يأتي من مكة ولا من أبو جهل ولا من أبو لهب ولا من هؤلاء الرؤساء والسادة من مكة. يعني he sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is going one direction and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving him victory from another direction. وهذا درسنا. This is a lesson that we have to learn. You're focusing this way. I want to make this decision. I want to take this way. But maybe the other way is better for you. You never know. والله يعلم وأنتم لا تعلمون وعسى أن تكرهوا شيئا وهو خير لكم. He goes to الطائف صلى الله عليه وسلم and doing his best عليه الصلاة والسلام. Nothing wrong with that. مرة من المرات يدعو الأكابر والوجهاء والرؤساء ويدخل عليه هذا الأعمى الصحابي الجليل فلعله يعني أجله قليلا فينزل الله سبحانه وتعالى الآيات عبس وتولى أن جاءه الأعمى وما يدريه لعله يزكى أو يذكر فتنفعه الذكرى أما من استغنى فأنت له تصدق وما عليك ألا يزكى. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one time he was the Prophet presenting Islam to the leaders and elite of Mecca. Nothing wrong if they accept. One of them accepted Islam, his people would accept Islam. He is doing his best, and in the course of that, one blind person, humble person is coming to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam of Muslims to ask him a question or something. And it looks like the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam delayed him for a little bit. I'm busy now. Looks like nothing wrong in there. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would reveal a Quran to put it right. You frown and you turn away from that person who is coming to ask for guidance. You focus on those people who are turning away from you. Now you're busy with them. لعلنا في هذه الأوقات we focus on المادية. We focus on how much women's that we have, and numbers, and how much establishment do we have. This is not the right thing for Nasr and Tamkeen. The Nasr, the victory, comes from faith. Those 6 people who had faith, they will go back, bring 12, and then 17, and then a small number, a small city of Medina. They will spearhead the effort of taking Islam to the world, literally. أتى من عندهم النصر. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is doing his best, choosing the best of people to represent Islam. Mus'ab ibn Umayr, teaching people in Mecca, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is his destination, or his destiny is somewhere else, in Medina. That you have to go to Medina. فتكون مهاجره صلى الله عليه وسلم وتكون يعني قبره صلى الله عليه وسلم الشريف فيها وتكون منها انطلق النور وتنزل القرآن. You will choose Medina to be the place, the Mahd al-Islam, where Islam will start, the cradle for Islam. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam would migrate, and we see, if we fast forward 10 years, a little less than 10 years after that, Muhajirun and Ansar, all of them, we're talking about a couple of thousands at maximum. In Hajj of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, 10 years from that time, there were over 100,000 Muslims in Hajj with the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, not talking about the other Muslims, 5 billion Muslims everywhere. هذه يعني الشجرة التي الطيبة التي تؤتي أكلها كل حين بإذن ربها. This is the good tree. The seed of that tree starts there at this time. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam put the seeds in there, and then they started growing up from that time. When those 6 young people came and accepted the da'wah of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, then they will make all the difference. The responsibility is huge on your shoulders of our youth. قولوا قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم واستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره. لا أحد يستحق الحمد سواه. نصلي ونسلم على نبيه ومصطفاه سيد الأولين والآخرين وإمام المرسلين سيدنا محمد. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن دعا بدعوته واستنى بسنته إلى يوم الدين. أيها الأحباب, let's not lose hope. This deen is protected. This religion, Islam, is the religion of Allah, the way of Allah. When we look into the Hijrah, this is another year. The Hijrah of the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam from Mecca to Medina, we see how Islam is taken care of. Don't worry about it. The last episode, آخر فصول المكة من أهل مكة, they conferred in Dabour, they met together and they decided we have to finish that. And they kept talking about it. Everybody suggests whatever they suggested until somebody said, let's elect from each tribe a strong young person, and they go to the house of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. They kill him and we finish that, and they did it. You see the youth, the young sanadid, strong people, Fursan, those knights, at the door of the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, waiting for him. Subhanallah, they had the nakhwa, this kind of chivalry, not to break into his house. They had not to break into his house. Why didn't they break? You read the seerah. Think about that. Think about that. When we nowadays are ready to break the privacy of one another, ready to do everything, look everywhere and you see it happening. So they did not. That was their limit. Yes, we are killers, but we still have some values. They were there, waiting to kill the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. It did not work. وَجَعَلْنَا مِنْ بَيْنِ أَيْدِيهِمْ سَدًّا وَمِنْ خَلْفِهِمْ سَدًّا فَأَغْشَيْنَاهُمْ فَهُمْ لَا يُبْصِرُونَ. Allah literally took their eyesight. They were not able to see him even though he was walking in front of their eyes with their eyes open, widely open. وَزِيَادَ وَإِمْعَانٍ فِي الذِّلَّ وَفِي إِصْغَارِهِمْ وَإِذْلَالِهِمْ وَضَعَ التُّرَابَ عَلَى رُؤُوسِهِمْ. Yani, to make it even worse, he took Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam some dust and he put it in their faces with their eyes widely open. And he lifted Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. This deen is protected. This prophet is going to be rescued. He's going to go ahead and his mission is going to be accomplished and completed. And another time, in Al-Ghar, they came all the way in the cave. They came all the way to kill Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and they got up to where he is. And Abu Bakr and Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, both of them are in Al-Ghar, hiding. And Abu Bakr said, Ya Rasulullah, لو أن أحدهم أبصر تحت قدميه أو نظر تحت قدميه لأبصرنا. If one of them would just bend down a little bit and look, he will see us here, gone. They can see their swords. Everybody's after him. Especially after Quraysh promised a very attractive price, 100 red camels for whoever brings Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam alive or dead. Just bring him. And all youth are going crazy, different directions. They want to get him. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, full of calmness of faith, yaqeen, certainty in Allah, trust in the promise of Allah. Ya Aba Bakr, ما ظنك باثنين الله ثالثهما لا تحزن إن الله معنا. What do you think, Ya Aba Bakr, of two? The third of them is Allah. معية الله عز وجل. وإذا العناية لاحظتك عيونها فالمخاوف كلهن أمان. If you are protected by Allah, if you are with Allah, then be sure that even if you are facing the fears, the worst of fears, Allah will take care of you. That's what happened. A third time when they were in the في طريق الهجرة, they escaped that and they managed to take a remote route far away. But then the youth are searching everywhere. Suraqa ibn Malik, one of the strong knights of Fursan, Mecca, he got to them. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is protecting him, making, like circling him, patrolling him. Sometime he's walking to his right, to his left, behind him, in front of him, and he saw these Faris. They did not have any weapons with them. They did not have any weapons. Many people think that Islam is teaching terrorism. He could have taken some weapons to protect them as son. He's not even carrying weapons. He believes in the protection of Allah. And this person, the terrorist, is coming after them. Like the terrorists are coming after Muslims everywhere nowadays. Just read it and look. It doesn't need anything but a little bit of thinking. Think who is killed and who is being killed. Who is being persecuted. You will know who is terrorist and who is not terrorist. They were coming after the Prophet ﷺ. He was coming after the Prophet ﷺ. And Nabi ﷺ did not even look back to him. Abu Bakr said, they got us, Ya Rasul. They got us. Suraqa is trying to move on, and تتدخل الإرادة الإلهية, the will, the divine power and will of Allah would stop him. His faras, his horse, the legs of the horse will sink on the literally sink on the sand. It becomes like a quicksand for a second. He tries once, twice, thrice, and every time the same thing is happening. With the third time he sees even some kind of a tornado or hurricane, something like clouds are coming and sand are getting up. He knew that they are protected. And now he is the one who is asking himayah. He is surrendering and he said, Ya Rasulullah, give me protection. Give me protection. I'm not going to do anything to you. He said, you are protected, go back. The only thing I'm asking from you is to, خذل عنا. Try to take the attention of people away from us. Subhanallah, Suraqa was a minute ago, was after them to get the prize, the great prize, which is like millions nowadays. And then the next hour he is going back. He's protecting them. Everybody who's meeting him coming this way, he said, well, I came from that way, nobody is here. Nobody is in this direction. Let's search somewhere else. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protects this deen by Muslims and by non-Muslims. We see everything that's happening. Shooting here and there. Islam does not call for shooting. People, babies, Muslims, our children, they know that this is our religion. It does not call for that. It does not, this is completely the ultimate opposite of Islam. Yet, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made this as a da'wah for Islam. And many people come to accept Islam because of the propaganda against Islam. Because of its Muslims being depicted such and such, this and that. Because of Mr. Trump talking against Muslims. I'm pretty much sure that a lot of people will go and read about what is Islam and what is Muslims and what they're calling for. Those who decide to go the hatred, the way of hatred, nobody's going to stop them. Those who accept stereotypes, whatever you tell them, they're going to go this way. But definitely there are some people who are they're not being informed the right information. They will come to know the right thing when they read about Islam. So let's learn that lesson of making hope. Hope is there. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was moving with hope. He gave the people of Medina hope. And that's what made all the difference. And let's also learn the lesson of that Allah will take care of His people and He's take care of Islam. And that happens throughout history. It happens in the Hijrah. It happens right after the death of the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. The majority of people, they abstained from Islam. They left Islam. Abu Bakr stood firm and he said, no, we have to stand firm in here. It's not a game. And it was victorious again. Islam was established again. In the time of Uthman, the capital of Muslims and the Khalifa of Muslims was killed in his house, assassinated in his house. And the capital of Muslim, Medina, it was taken over. But then Islam was coming back again. Tatar came and they also took over the capital of Muslims. Islam won again. Even though you're talking about years of suffering, the Crusaders, they came and they killed hundreds of thousands of Muslims and non-Muslims, by the way. And Islam became again victorious. So we have to learn the lessons from our history. Inshallah, tomorrow we will have some time after Salatul Isha to reflect on Al-Hijrah Al-Nabawiyya Al-Sharifah. This event that made all the difference in the history of Islam, the legacy of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam from Mecca to Medina. Tomorrow after Salatul Isha, there will be some light refreshment, there will be some anashid, some khawatir from different brothers and sisters. Bring your kids and come and let's reconnect with our heritage, with our deed, with our history, inshallah, tabarak wa ta'ala. All of that tomorrow, Saturday, after Salatul Isha. Allahumma اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وإسرافنا في أمرنا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. اللهم وجهنا لكل خير وأعنا عليه وثبتنا عليه يا رب العالمين. Allah forgive our sins, Ya Arhamar Rahimeen. Allah show us the truth as truth and give us the power to adopt it and follow it. Allah show us the falsehood as falsehood and give us the power to stay away from it, Ya Rabb al-Alameen. Allahumma ahdi abna'ana wa awladana wa azwajana wa ahdi qulubana, Ya Rabb al-Alameen. Guide us all the straight path, Ya Arhamar Rahimeen. Oh Allah, guide us and guide our kids and our spouses and give us guidance in everything that we go into, Ya Rabb al-Alameen. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik ala abdika wa rasulika sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in.
check which set of code it is, the silent code there. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa Allah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Hayya ala salati, hayya ala falah. Qad qamat as-salat, qad qamat as-salat. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illa Allah. استقيموا وسووا الصف واعتصموا واعتدلوا الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. إلا تنصروه فقد نصره الله إذ أخرجه الذين كفروا ثاني اثنين إذ هما في الغار إذ يقول لصاحبه لا تحزن إن الله معنا فأنزل الله سكينته عليه وأيده بجنود لم تروها وجعل كلمة الذين كفروا السفلى وكلمة الله هي العليا والله عزيز حكيم. الله. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله. الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله. الله.